Fishing is fishing, right? Throw your bait into the water and the fish is going to swim by and bite it. Well, not exactly. Targeting a specific species of fish is the best approach to have the most success. Bass fishing vs trout fishing is no different. I've spent years fishing both species, and the best way to catch one is by specifically targeting it with your lures and presentation. By the end of this video, you will know the difference between trout vs bass fishing. Let's get going. To be more successful bass anglers, we all need to understand bass and their habits on a deeper level. This includes knowing when and where they feed and spawn, how they act while feeding and spawning, how water conditions, weather, and time of year affect their behavior, along with countless other factors that contribute to bass behavior, which in turn determines what gear you will be using and when you will be using it. There are several different species of bass. They are found in freshwater and saltwater. The generic term bass can mean anything from striped bass to pickup bass to sea bass and countless others. This video will focus on black bass, primarily largemouth bass and smallmouth bass. Largemouth bass are not picky eaters. What do bass eat? This, like so many other things, will depend on the time of year, but they will generally eat anything they can get their mouth on. Shad, bluegill, and crawdads are the most common foods for bass. They have also been known to eat worms, lizards, snakes, and even small turtles. Ask 5 bass anglers what's the best lure for bass fishing and you will get 5 different answers, ranging from spinnerbaits, jigs, vibrating jigs, soft plastics, crankbaits, jerkbaits, and top water lures. Each lure should have its place in your tackle box. One lure will outshine the others at specific times and circumstances, so knowing how and when to fish each is one of the best skills you can learn when it comes to fishing for bass. When I go on a fishing trip, I try to match the hatch, meaning whatever food source is the most abundant at the time I will try to match my lure accordingly. Understanding trout tendencies will help you become a better trout angler. Trout will behave differently from species to species as well as stock vs wild fish. Similar to bass, water conditions, weather patterns, and the time of year affect the behavior of trout. Knowing exactly how these factors affect trout will exponentially increase your odds of getting a bite. The word trout encompasses several distinct species of fish. We will focus on the most commonly fished for species in North America. Rainbow, steelhead, cutthroat, brown, brook, lake trout, and speckled trout are all highly targeted throughout the U.S. Many state and tribal agencies stock rainbow trout and brown trout in local rivers and lakes to give more angling opportunities to the citizens of that area. This can be a highly controversial topic amongst conservationists and fishermen. Rainbow trout and steelhead trout are very similar. The primary difference between the two is steelhead spend the majority of their existence in salt water. They are both silver and rainbow colored along their side. Where to find trout? Trout can be found in streams, rivers, lakes, and the ocean. Clear water streams and rivers are where most species thrive. Most species of trout only survive in cold waters. If the water temperature gets too warm, they will die off or find cooler water. Trout will congregate in the deeper holes in cold water streams and rivers to use less energy while they wait for their prey. Like bass, trout will stay close to current breaks such as rocks and trees to ambush unsuspecting food. Lake trout are found deep in open water. They are the exception to the rule for trout species in the U.S. For the most part, trout are freshwater fish. However, speckled trout and steelhead trout are found in saltwater. Speckled trout are found shallow in bays and brackish water along the coast of Texas to Florida. Trout will eat insect larvae, small bayfish, crawfish, and just about anything else they can grab with their mouth. They are much less aggressive than a bass, but when an opportunity presents itself, they will snatch up their food. The most well-known way to catch trout is to use flies. Fly fishing requires stealth, patience, and practice. Many anglers spend their entire lives trying to master the art of fly fishing. Inline spinners, spoons, salmon eggs, and dough bait are all great candidates for trout lures and baits. Jigs are often used to catch lake trout, while speckled trout fishermen dream of a speck destroying a top water lure. Surprising to most people, the techniques used to catch bass can also be used to catch trout. Bass require heavier gear and larger lures, where trout often require lighter gear and smaller lures. Fly fishing for bass is becoming more popular while it has been the pinnacle of trout fishing for many years. Trout and bass can both be caught while trolling, using top water lures, and jigging. While there are subtle differences in the techniques for bass vs trout, the skills are easily transferable. Is bass fishing or trout fishing better? Personally, it's hard to beat floating down a river throwing a super duper spoon on an ultralight rod and reel for trout. While I have caught crappie, bluegill, white bass, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, and catfish with my ultralight setup, a trout still prevails as my favorite fish to catch. Trout via bass fishing, in my opinion, trout wins. However, that doesn't mean I would ever turn down a bite from any other species of fish. It's time for you to get out there and have an awesome fishing adventure. Thank you for watching.